Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Banjo Kazooie Xbox Live Arcade version. Yeah, we're back with part number 7. Now, I'm gonna get the Jiggy from Clanker's Cavern that raises Gruntilda's eyes, and hopefully I can bring you guys some interesting information to keep you guys watching Banjo Kazooie. Right now, we're actually gonna be learning about something called piranha water, deadly in nature. It's a basic water hazard of a regular platformer. There's only 3 ways, actually, to deal with piranha water. And that, of course, is wadding boots, if you use your Wonder Wing ability. And there's going to be a third thing that we're going to learn about in this part. For those of you who haven't played Banjo Kazooie, you have no idea what why you're watching this. But if you are, I'll keep it a surprise. Kind of funny off the bat, a lot of people would miss this move simply because of the fact that the game directs you to go forwards, and you have to actually kind of counterintuitively go behind the original pedestal where you start. The funny thing is when I was a kid, I distinctly have memories of on my way back as I was leaving the level for the first time, I'd more than likely find the move, less likely than actually right off the bat. But of course, over time you kind of come to memorize where sort of certain key things are located, especially things that cause you issue. First off, we're going to start this little series of, how do I say this, Jiggy events, where we shoot eggs into the mouth of the different Croctus characters. As their mouth begins to move faster and faster as you go further along. There's these odd little stems spouting all over the level, kind of interesting level design. I'll probably end up missing a couple, maybe one Mumbo Jumbo token over the course of this, but I do try to collect them all, just because I like to have that sort of completionist mentality to the game. But yeah, otherwise, we're not going to be seeing anything too fancy from Banjo Kazooie. This level in particular, I liked it as a kid. It wasn't anything spectacular, but as far as, you know, keeping my interest, and it was one of those levels that took me a little bit later in my life to end up completing 100% because of the fact of it's sort of it seems it's not a huge level, but it seems a little bit bigger when you're a kid, when you don't have that reference point when you're starting off the game. But for the most part, I'm going to get the majority of the Jiggies actually within the first 10 minutes or so. They're not too hard to get. The idea behind Banjo Kazooie's Bubblegloop Swamp is, of course, that it has sort of 2 center locations that spout off into 4 different locations or so. And it's as simple as that. It's a nice thing if you learn the wadding boots for this part. It's a lot easier to use the wadding boots than to try and wait for that, time that leaf. You might end up missing it, cause you a little bit of frustration. I also collect the notes back here because there's enough time on the wadding boots. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Not only am I getting the Jiggy, but I don't have to come back for those musical notes. Now, there's going to be a couple of things that we're going to be talking about as far as when it comes to Bubblegloop Swamp, it not being a super favorite level. I almost missed that one up right there, but I luckily scavenged it. But it being not a super favorite level, there isn't a lot of factoids for it, other than kind of interesting. There is no water, no swimmable water. This is the only level in all of Banjo Kazooie where there is no swimmable water. In the game. Now in Freezy's Peak, I believe there's like 1 patch of non-frozen water, but even then it still counts as water. But every other level has water in it, and it's a good thing too because the water controls were pretty good for its time for Banjo Kazooie. They definitely knew what they had going for them. Now this one always caused me a lot of frustration as a kid, especially because I didn't have camera controls as precise. You'll notice the best way to do it is to move your camera and then just press up on the control pad, basically, allowing the camera to do most of the control stick work, just because it's a little easier to take. And bunches in here, it's, can be a little issue. I just decided to jump for it, bridge the gap. That way it's less time spent on very narrow lengths of plank. Just what I do. Play this game like I'm a pro. Gonna get the note and then come back for the Jinjo. I think I should have probably gone Jinjo then note because I ended up coming back anyways. But yeah, we all make mistakes. That's not gonna be my major mistake of the part either. So yeah, there's going to be something interesting, actually. This is going to be a 2-part episode for Bubblegloop Swamp. And the next part is going to be a little bit less about the level, and it's going to be more about something related to a character in this game. In this level, I should say. And I felt like now would be a good time to start talking about it, but we'll save it when we get to him or her or it, or I'm not even sure. So the funny thing about this little fight right here is that it's the gold flippets, the yellow flippets is called. The best way to actually take care of them is either to come back as a crocodile or use a Wonder Wing. They always gave me issues as a kid just because of the path, like the time. You have to kind of get this like odd timing down where you roll into them just as they're landing. So it always caused me issue, and even in this part, this causes me a lot of issue. I don't even look like close, like stuff like that where it just jumps right over you. But otherwise, it's not a very difficult mini combat section. Nothing out of the ordinary. Don't know what hit me there, but oh, there it is, coming out of the woodwork, so to speak. Yeah, otherwise, nothing too crazy with this. I'm having a hard time with this. Come on Project Arc, you can do it. Just focus on your Heart of the Cards. Look at that, Heart of the Cards won us the game, and just perfect. The honeycomb lands right on top of me as I do it. You know, I plan that. That's what I do. I plan things ahead quite well. Another enemy we're going to be learning about in this game, I should say, has to be it's called a buzz bomb. So at the beginning of the game, we notice there's this sort of like dragonfly-esque bug, and we can see sort of far off in the distance that yellow dragonfly enemy. It's called a buzz bomb. Interesting little tidbit. It's actually Donkey Kong 3, Donkey Kong Country 3 had an enemy called Buzz Bomb. Which is kind of cool. Also, in Donkey Kong 64, Mr. Vile, he's a crocodile that we're going to be meeting a little later, has a very similar design to Claptrap from Donkey Kong 64, and I thought that was also a little cool. This is probably the best example of using using the spring pad, just because of the fact that you can use it to sort of, jump off. That initial little hop off, you can basically direct it anywhere. You don't have to stay on the pad to get that, use that initial hop off. And then from there, it's pretty simple. And we're almost done with the Croctus little side quest. I have a lot of trouble, actually, with this Mumbo Jumbo token. Check this out. Alright, so line it up. We're good. Going over. And, a little too much. Oh, well, not a big deal. Alright, let's go ahead. Let's just do it again. Alright, here we go. And there we go. Perfect. Good stuff. I did miss that the time before that, too. We also press the control switch, which is an additional Jiggy, and then we also get this one as well. Now, the thing is, you can use the wadding boots in this area to go collect all the things that are on the bottom of the of these little trees. But instead, I like to come back as a crocodile. It's a little bit easier and less, I guess, stressful is like a good way to put it. I'm going back for nothing. I'm just double checking to see if there's anything that I might have missed over the course of it. Now we're going to be meeting up with Tank Tub, and he's going to be he's going to reveal to us absolutely nothing, because instead I've decided that I'd like to go finish with the Croctus minigame, Jiggy, I should say, and then I'm going to go visit Tank Tub. He's kind of a cool guy. He's got his feet are numb. He cannot feel anything. Make you wonder if he's paralyzed. So to cure paralysis, what do? We'll ground pound his limbs. Just smash them down. It's such a nice way of dealing with joint pain and muscle. Oh, and we're gonna make it. And just outside the piranha, and we also take down the Flip It. Ooh. Kind of an interesting name for an enemy, eh? Flip It. Getting our blue ginger right there. Nothing too major. With Tank Tub, we're going to be meeting the Tip Top Choir and Tip Top himself. Tip Top, kind of an interesting guy. He appeared in Diddy Kong Racing for the Nintendo 64, a game that came out just before this one. And a lot of people probably remember that. It was like kind of like a Mario Kart ripoff, but not really, because you could use airplanes, and I believe hovercrafts were in that game as well. You could decide if you wanted a car, a hovercraft, or a plane, depending on certain levels. It was kind of cool, and he used a lot of different characters. Banjo made his first appearance in that game, of course, and then we also had Tip Top in there as well. Now it's kind of funny because Tip Top and Banjo kind of go back. And that's what we're going to be talking about in the next part. Something called Project Dream, which was the beta name for Banjo Kazooie. And I won't spoil anything for the next part because I have tons of content to tell you guys now. But I won't spoil it for the next part. There's a lot to talk about with Project Dream, and there's a lot less, I feel like there's a lot more just sort of exploring in the other part and less getting actual jiggies, which is sort of thing of why is there a choir inside of his stomach? You ever wonder about that? You know, it's kind of weird. It doesn't even look like he can fit in that shell. But you just don't question it. There we go. And cheap shot, you son of a bitch. And look, it hit me twice. Hit me twice in a default animation where I couldn't do anything. Ugh. That usually isn't a problem for this buzz bomb is kind of giving me a hard time. But that usually isn't a problem for me, or in the game, I should say. Come on. Oh, extra damage. Now, this is going to bite me in the ass later. Now, I've taken, as you can see, a huge amount of damage here. I can, at most, restore 3 pieces of honeycomb from the beehive. For those of you who don't know, you can actually really quickly cancel out of... I'm actually going to get 2 of the honeycombs, since the third one is in a dangerous spot. But as it turns out, with the beehives, they're quite the friendly little thing. I'm just double checking once again, making sure there isn't anything that I'm missing. You know me, I like to be a bit of a completionist, and all of this is off the top of my head. But yeah, and I think finally we're going to go into Tank Top, which will be one of the last things we do, and something that actually gave me a hard time as a kid was probably the 3rd lesson. So there's 3 lessons with Tip Top. Now this is kind of a weird glitch that happens for me when I'm dealing with Tip Top. So I just kind of walk by him, whatever. I'm just intruding on his class where they're learning about music lessons, and I'm just like, hey, I've got a bird in my backpack. What's up? So, anyways, I go to get the, you have to jump on top of his pedestal to get this honeycomb piece. And the thing is that it kept on, every single time I would move an inch, it kept on thinking that I wanted to get a revamp or a re-lesson of what we had learned. So, right now, of course, I was kind of distracted while I did this as well, to help explain why I did so poorly on this section. But we've got lesson 1 done, and lesson 2, of course, is just a memory game. And if you want, instead of if you knock the wrong little tip top, as you can see, you lose honeycomb. So the best thing to do, of course, is to rewatch instead of allowing yourself to take that damage. Now, me being lazy, kind of messed that up. So pretty easy, the second one, and now the third one isn't hard. It is not that hard. You're only looking about 10. I think 8 or so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, 7. You're just looking for a 7 combination. Now, the thing that messed me up there was the first guy didn't react to me ground pounding on him, so it kind of, that was sort of a cheap loss for me. And now I'm supposed to hit the red guy. The red guy. Oh, and I don't do it. And now we're going to be back to regular speed because, well, no need to speed it up because I don't actually fail. So now we'll try again. And what's kind of interesting is if you lose a life, it'll change the order. So it's not the same every single time. Or it is the same every single time. Oh no, it is different. So yes, it is different every single time that you do go. It's probably from a list of generated ones. And of course, I just need a quick refresher because I just want to verify that I'm going to get this in 1 or 2 tries with minimal mistakes, because kind of embarrassed that I screwed up at the Tip Top Choir. But the thing about Tip Top is that he also appeared in Banjo Kazooie Diddy Kong Racing Nintendo 64. Probably already talked about this. And now, in regards to Project Dream, he was a character who was supposed to appear along Banjo. Project Dream, I won't get too much into it. I'm so tempted to do it too, but basically, Banjo wasn't the main character of Project Dream, and that, I think, is probably the most intriguing point about Rare and their ability to have come from sort of this initial design for a really different kind of game, and then they ended up with Banjo Kazooie, and I can't tell you if I would have preferred to play Project Dream. I mean, it's one of those, you know, hypothetical situations, but you know what? It's very interesting to think of what could have been. Would codename Project Dream have done as well as the final product of Banjo Kazooie? I have a hard time thinking so, considering how much I love Banjo Kazooie and the whole series. The whole franchise is quite amazing. I've been a huge fan of this game for a long time. And actually, it's funny, I'm going to be doing a video about Banjo Kazooie nuts and bolts in the future. I won't say how or what, or if it's going to be a review, or I'm going to do a Let's Play of it or not. But let's just say people really don't like this game, and I think I need to address that a little bit. But anyways, that's for another part. In this, we're going to be going through. This is probably my least favorite mumbo jumbo. Like, this is probably my least favorite part of any level ever, and I'm just gonna say that because it's boring. It's like once you've done it once, it's not even a maze. It's like, it's very simple. I mean, maybe as a kid I had some difficulties getting through it on the specific timer, and it caused me a little bit of anxiety, but it's really simple, and every time you need to transform, you need to come back and go through this whole segment. There's no shortcut or anything that unlocks, so it's kind of just this really boring part. But this, in particular, was a form of stress, too, because if you mess up here, you have to redo that whole wadding boots part, and it's really just a pain in the butt. So 10 seconds is more than enough time. You just take it slow, think it through, and then when you can get close enough, just jump. Jumping is always the best way to deal with those platforming sections, or not the platforming, but the tiptoe sections, so to speak. Just because you'll be able to gain more ground with less risk of falling, I find, at the very least, especially if you go from a small platform to a larger platform. You're more likely to land versus actually having to use finicky controls. So kind of interesting. Actually, we're going to be ending off with the crocodile animation. So everything after this is going to be, I also got my 20th Mumbo Jumbo token. Not in total. I think that's the amount I've collected. Now, what's going to be interesting is the next part's going to be mostly in the crocodile, everything that you can do, and I'm going to be talking about Project Dream. So make sure to watch out for that, guys. Hopefully I was, you know, I gave you guys a little bit more understanding about Banjo Kazooie, a little bit about Bubblegloop Swamp, and little key features here and there. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I will see you guys at the next part, where we're going to be discussing Project Dream. And have yourselves a great day. There we go. Got the honeycomb. Turn into a crocodile, Banjo. I am a crocodile.